Hi, you guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, the point of this is to just glorify God and for everyone, including myself, to grow closer to Him and learn how to chase Him. And, we live in a society now where we chase all of the wrong things when really, we should be chasing God. We lose sight of what's really important in life. So that's kind of the point of this. And today I wanted to be reading out of Jeremiah 33:3. The Lord's spoken to me a lot through these verses with things that I've struggled with and my personal just relationship with Him that I've gone through. And so I wanted to read these verses to you. It says, "While he was still confined in the guard's courtyard, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah a second time. The Lord who made the earth, the Lord who forms it to establish it, the Lord is his name, says this: Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and wondrous things that you do not know." So, the point I love about this is how it mentions Jeremiah being confined. A lot of times we feel like as Christians or, as people trying to get to know who God is and get to grow closer to Him, we feel like because of our struggles, because of our sin, or whatever, we can't, hear from God. We can't grow close to Him. That's not a thing. You have to be this religious and upright person who's never sinned or never done anything bad. The truth is, we all have. But that's not what these verses say. It says, while he was still confined in the guard's courtyard, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah a second time, not just once, but twice. So in his struggle, I want to point out, God was there, but not only was God speaking to Jeremiah, not only did God come to Jeremiah, that was the second time that it had happened. God did not just say, okay, well, look, you're doing this thing and this isn't right. You need to stop. And then God left. No, God doesn't just leave us. It says He came back a second time. And that's such a powerful verse for me whenever I'm in a struggle or I'm going through something, is realizing that I may be confined by chains, or I may be confined in a courtyard, so to speak, but God is not going to give up on me, and I may be walking away from Him, and I may be doing things that are wrong, but God is going to speak to me, and as His child, He is going to call me back to Him and let me know these great and wondrous things that I don't know. And the point I really love is how, God's asking Jeremiah to call to Him. Because a lot of the times, I know for me, God usually isn't always the first person I go to if there's a problem. It's a friend or a family member. But, God's reminding Jeremiah, call to me. Call to God first. The maker of earth, who established it and who formed it. God still desires to speak to you no matter what you're going through right now. And I think that's the main point that I want to share with you guys today, is just no matter what's going on in your life, God is not giving up on you. So don't give up on yourself. There are so many things that God wants to do in your life, and He's going to do amazing things in it. But you just have to be still and wait expectantly on the Lord once you do call to Him. And that's not always easy, of being patient when you really want an answer from the Lord, from God. Just trying to figure out what your next step is, or where to go. Having patience in that is extremely hard. But you need to be able to wait with faith, knowing that God is going to answer you, and standing on that truth, because I promise you, Satan is going to try and derail you and make you doubt God's ability to deliver you, and that He's going to tell you all these lies, saying, God's not there. God left you. You're hopeless. You're lost. You're a failure. You're not worth it. God doesn't want you. And those are all lies. Those are all lies. You are amazing, and you are loved, and you are beautiful, and you are chosen by God. and He wants to know you, and He wants to grow closer to you. He wants you to know Him and His love and what He did for you. And so there's a verse that I want to read you guys. It's in 2 Corinthians 10, 12, verses 9 through 10. If I can get there. And maybe not. Okay. So it says, these verses are Paul is a disciple of God. He's a follower of God. Back in the Old Testament, and he was somebody that was sharing the gospel with other people. But the cool thing about Paul was he didn't always go by the name of Paul. If you don't know the story, his name was Saul before that, and he actually persecuted and killed Christians. He was a very religious man, but he didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. He didn't know what Jesus did for him on the cross, that He died for him to save him from his sins and rose again on the third day so that he can have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And if you guys want more information about that part, you can just comment below, and I will try and do a video on that really soon. But in these verses, Paul's asking God to remove this thorn in the flesh from him that he's been battling with. And the Bible doesn't really go into what that thorn is or what Paul meant by that. But God said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. For when I am weak, then I am strong." And for me, those verses are a big dose of hope on a daily basis, reminding me that no matter how much I mess up or how much things aren't going the way that I have them planned, God's grace is sufficient for me, and His grace is perfected in my weakness. Not only does His grace cover your sin or my sin or whatever it is that I'm struggling with, but it also covers, whatever it is I'm going through, and it also gives me the power to rise up and overcome my struggle, to rise up and come out of the courtyard, out of the confinement that I'm in. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that God is not finished with you yet. So don't lose heart. Keep praying, keep believing, keep having faith. And if you want me to pray for you, just comment below. And I hope you guys have a great week.